Straight ahead on IU NewsNet, IU football has Bloomington buzzing. What the crowds, the sold-out games, and the fan frenzy is doing for the bottom line at Bloomington hotels, restaurants, and shops.
And Taylor Swift is creating a frenzy 60 miles up the road. Indy prepares for her 3-day visit with street signs, murals, and parties. I'll show you the massive economic impact.
And what's cuter than little kids all decked out for trick-or-treating? Greek Row throws them a street party. We'll take you there. IU NewsNet starts now.
Welcome to IU NewsNet. I'm Ryan Costello.
And I'm Grace Morocco. We'll get to those stories in a moment, but first, let's get to some breaking news that has happened over the past 24 hours. There was heavy police presence this morning at 10th and Eagleson. It rerouted morning buses and affected hundreds of students. The area of 10th Street and Eagleson Avenue was blocked off by police cars and fire trucks for several hours this morning. In a statement, IUPD said they're investigating an isolated incident in which a male with no IU affiliation fired one shot, harming himself. IUPD is not releasing any further details with respect to the individual and their family. The area the incident occurred in is near Wells Library, the Student Health Center, and the Wright Quadrangle construction. In other news, overnight, firefighters battled high winds on rugged ground when a fire broke out near Lake Monroe. It happened near the North Fork Wildlife Refuge. That's near East Rogers and South McGowan roads. Until today, there has been little rain, so the flames spread quickly near a wooded hillside between two gravel roads. The fire burned about 17 acres of woods until 25 firefighters were able to contain it.
Now to the football frenzy. The school spirit in Bloomington right now is unmatched, and the football success is rippling in all directions.
It sure is. Some students were even in line for college game day at 11 in the morning the day before the show. IU NewsNet's Caroline Geib joins us with the impact the winning team is making across town. Caroline?
As the Hoosiers go up in rankings, so do hotel prices in Bloomington. And businesses all across Bloomington are benefiting from the Hoosiers' ongoing success on the field.
Every weekend is a big weekend in Bloomington this fall, thanks to the undefeated Hoosiers football team. Not only are Hoosier fans celebrating this unexpected winning season, but the town of Bloomington is celebrating something different: huge economic benefits. Some shops on Kirkwood Avenue are even opening earlier and closing later to catch up with the crowds.
Definitely at the beginning of the season, it felt very much like we can almost like breathe a little bit more during game day weekends, but especially like we started opening earlier as the season progressed to sort of capitalize, especially with noon games.
Ann Bastianelli, a Kelly professor, said a regular home game weekend can rake in an extra $280,000, but a bigger game can double that number. Hotels, restaurants, and merch shops are getting the brunt of the buzz in Bloomington, and it doesn't hurt that university donors and potential recruits like winners too.
Kind of think about athletics as the front porch of the university. This is what gives a university curb appeal. So, if people are just sort of mildly considering it or didn't know if they'd heard of it before, this sort of boosts the reputation and makes it more attractive.
Want to get in on all the fun? Good luck. IU's home football games are sold out for the rest of the season.
The Hoosiers will play again at Memorial Stadium a week from this Saturday when they take on the Michigan Wolverines. Every home game pours money right back into the Bloomington economy. Now back to you at the desk.
Well, critics of IU's new expressive activity policy say it was not enforced fairly after students camped out overnight before ESPN's College Game Day. Students held signs and waited outside of Memorial Stadium overnight last weekend. The policy forbids any expressive activity on campus between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. But the university claims that waiting in line is not a form of expression and that the event was IU sanctioned. Critics claim the opposite, saying fans still violated the policy.
They were there to support the team and to express support for IU athletics. I think reasonable people would consider that to be expressing a message, yet no one thinks the university plans to cite those students.
15 IU professors addressed their concerns to the university, expressing what they perceive as uneven policy enforcement.
The students who lead the tours on the IU campus are now told to avoid one of the most iconic and beautiful spots. That's because it's surrounded by a chain link fence. Why is Dunn Meadows still closed off when it appears all the work to fix the grass after last semester's protest has long ended? IU NewsNet's Emma Gladstone is looking into it. Emma?
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, students are starting to get pretty restless about this whole Dunn Meadows situation. Dunn Meadow has always been a home for IU students to kind of just come and hang out with their friends, get some lunch, have a picnic here, and it's been locked up for 3 months now. That's the start of the semester. The fence went up following Palestinian protests here last semester. IU says the encampments did $100,000 in damage to the grass. Last time we reached out to IU, they said that the turf they've laid down each time to settle and set, but we reached out to some landscapers. They said, well, they don't want to comment specifically on Dunn Meadow. It normally takes only from 2 to 6 weeks for that. Workers appear to be gone and the grass looks in pretty good shape. So why the delay?
The gates aren't like the prettiest looking, so definitely takes away from the Bloomington aesthetic, and like you were saying, they're not going to do it until next semester, and I'm going to be gone abroad, so I definitely would love to see the gates down soon because the field's looking amazing.
The university says Dunn Meadows should reopen by the end of the semester, but did not give an exact estimate of when. With a winning football team and school spirit at an all-time high, students hope to get these fences out of here before the harsh winters come and they can go and relax with their friends. Thanks, guys, and back to you at the desk.
A Monroe County judge has dropped all but one of the charges against an IU student accused of raping 2 women in 1 week. 20-year-old Noah Apgard of Greenwood was facing 5 counts of rape, 1 count of strangulation, and 1 count of confinement. 2 women came forward last month saying he attacked them. One of the alleged rapes was reported as taking place at a Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity house. But this week, a judge dismissed everything except 1 rape charge due to concerns over evidence and burden of proof.
There's less than 1 week to go until Election Day, and students are voting either in person or by absentee ballot. You can still vote early at the elections operations site at 302 South Walnut Street in Bloomington. Or you can vote on Election Day, November 5th at the Indiana Memorial Union. Absentee ballots in Indiana must be received by 6 p.m. on Election Day to be counted. The Monroe County Democratic Party is hosting a watch party on election night from 7 to 11 p.m. at the John Waldron Arts Center. There will also be a watch party for the County Republican Party. Details to come. IU Student Television will have live coverage throughout election night.
It's been a long time coming, but the Monroe County has finally selected a site on which to build the new county jail.
Yes, and it's been quite the controversial process. Our Ashton Hackman joins us with the City County Roundup for all the things that you need to know. Ashton?
That's right. This has been a decision that has been delayed time and time again, but now commissioners are ready to move forward. The commission signed the purchase agreement for the North Park property. That's near State Road 46 and Interstate 69. The county was down to 2 sites for the jail, but after public pushback and fears of further delays, the North Park property was considered the best option.
The whataboutism has to stop, and we need to move forward. But I think we found a really good piece of land.
There is no word on when construction of the new jail could begin. The county council must first sign off on the purchase agreement as well. That meeting is set for November 12th. And it's not just the county law enforcement that are making building improvements, but Bloomington Fire as well. City leaders unveiled the new fire station headquarters. The building was in need of dire renovations and repairs after a historic flood in 2021. The new station has the same garage with upgrades and a major expansion of the east side of the building. Firefighters will now have a new kitchen, sleeping areas, and unit-specific alarm systems. And once again, a quick reminder that IU Student Television will have complete election coverage on election night. Our team will be live on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will have reporters live in the field covering local elections, and of course, we'll stay up to date on results coming in from across the country for this historic presidential election. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. Just search IUSTV on YouTube or Facebook. Now back to you.
Thanks, Ashton. Getting around Bloomington can be tough both behind and in front of the wheel. but crossing the street has the potential to turn deadly. IU NewsNet's Emma Herway has the story of one IU student who recently got hit by a car and what the city of Bloomington is doing to improve safety in the future.
Ava Fiormuga's call log from October 14th shows around 50 calls made to her parents and friends. No, she wasn't just chatty that day, she had been hit by a car.
And I start to walk and I get to the middle of the crosswalk and next thing I know, like wham, I have coffee all over me, I'm face down on the ground. I'm like, what on earth just happened?
She got hit at the intersection of Woodlawn Avenue and 7th Street on her way home from class. She was taken to the hospital later that night with minor injuries. Fortunately, her biggest lasting problem was some coffee stains.
I'm covered in coffee, I can't see, my glasses flew off, there's coffee in my eyes, there's coffee in my hair. And the guy stops and gets out and he asks if I was okay and then he goes, oh my gosh, I ruined your outfit. And I was like, not what I'm concerned about right now.
Fiormuga isn't an anomaly. Nationally, pedestrian fatality levels are the highest they've been in 40 years.
This is an issue that every community is dealing with, and we are no exception.
The city of Bloomington is working on many safety projects, including turning one of Indiana Avenue's 2 lanes into a 2-way bike lane. Reducing traffic to 1 lane will ultimately reduce vehicle speed.
We are trying to reduce those fatal and severe injury collisions. Reducing speed does that. Speed kills.
Pedestrians will also only have to cross 1 lane of traffic, not 2, to get from campus to Kirkwood.
Say, look, we want this downtown to be for people, not cars.
So who's at fault in a pedestrian crash? Duncan says the drivers.
Because they're driving a multi-ton metal machine.
When walking, safety is all about looking both ways before you cross the street. We've been told that since we were little. But when driving, it's all about putting your phone, away. And keeping your eyes on the road and paying attention to your surroundings.
I think you can't win as a pedestrian or as a driver. It's frustrating either way and it's uncomfortable. So, everyone's just trying to get to where they need to be and everyone's very impatient. So I think that's an issue. But yeah, I definitely think something should be done about pedestrian safety.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Emma Herway.
Pedestrian safety is an extra concern on Halloween. That's why Greek Road transformed into a safe space for Bloomington's youngest trick-or-treaters. As they collected candy, they brought their own version of sweetness. IU NewsNet's Shelby Brown takes us there.
When Halloween hits Greek Row, it's all about costumes, candy, and community.
My costumes are rich and I like the lollipops.
Kids with bags full of lollipops, candy bars, and gummy worms made their way through Indiana University's Treats with Greeks, a night where fraternities and sororities opened their doors to Bloomington's youngest trick-or-treaters.
Treats with the Greeks is the best event ever. It's a really good way to give us back to the community that we support, and it's all a good fun time.
With each house a new stop on the candy trail.
What's your favorite candy you got this year?
Skittles.
Skittles? And what's your costume?
Red from the Descendants 4.
Kids will go from house to house collecting candy such as Skittles, but safety is a huge priority, so the entirety of David Baker Avenue shut down to create a safe environment for trick-or-treaters.
This is my 3rd Treats with Greeks, and so I've gotten to see how it's just developed over the years, and this has been such an amazing turnout. We had to go get more candy. It's been seriously fantastic.
No tricks, just treats, and a night to give back, one doorstep at a time. For IU NewsNet, I'm Shelby Brown.
When we come back, the E. coli scare that started at McDonald's has a lot of people wondering if fast food is safe. We'll have the latest on a nationwide scare.
Plus, do you get enough sleep? We'll tell you why research on fruit flies is helping IU understand what it takes to get you the rest you need. Stay with us. Are you ready for it? Taylor Swift is on her way to Indiana.
She's bringing her Eras Tour to Indianapolis this weekend for 3 nights. It's the last stop in the U.S., and the Circle City is already feeling the effects. Just try to find a hotel room.
She's the superstar of the superstars.
And even before she arrives in Indianapolis, Taylor Swift is shattering records.
The economic impact of 3 nights of Taylor Swift is supposed to be the equivalent of 3 Super Bowls.
More than 200,000 people are expected for the concerts, and 80% of them are traveling to Indianapolis to see her. Economic impact to the city? An estimated $100 million.
This is as big of a hosting thing as you're going to have. So it lets Indianapolis do something that we really are great at, and do it in a way that really kind of brings the city to life in a special way.
It is no surprise that Indianapolis, or should I say Swift City, is going all out for the Eras Tour, like this life-size mural and street signs like these with Swift's name, lyrics, and song titles.
And there's a consolation for Swifties who did not win the Great War for tickets. Different ways to have their best days.
So there's 50 events throughout downtown Indianapolis that weekend. It's at places like the Children's Museum, the State Museum, even out at the IMS, on the Circle. A lot of like bracelet making activities, things like that, just so people can feel a part of it.
The ripple effect extends to Bloomington, which has no intention to shake it off.
Bloomington is closer to the Indianapolis airport than the northeast side of Indianapolis, like the Hamilton County area. So it's not that far to go. So we definitely get that, and it's fantastic.
Fantastic. Like the connection Swift has with her fans.
Well, thank you for that.
And the afterglow it leaves.
I literally sat for hours and hit refresh trying to get tickets for a concert. I've never done that before in my life. I did, got tickets for my daughter and a friend, and going to that concert. I mean, she literally described the concert as one of the greatest days of her life.
On Wednesday, Mayor Joe Hogsett proclaimed this weekend Taylor Swift weekend. If you want to follow along with all of the Swiftie madness in Indianapolis this weekend, check out Indy's Instagram, which is at Visit Indy.
McDonald's is once again selling quarter pounders in all of its locations after an E. coli outbreak. Tests showed the beef patties used in the sandwich tested negative for the bacteria, but the bacteria was linked to onions from Taylor Farms, the same supplier that sends onions to Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC. At least 75 people across 13 states reported getting E. coli. Luckily, none were here in Indiana, but one person died from the bacteria. The CDC issued a food safety alert last week.
Here's a personal question. Are you getting enough sleep?
I don't really know if I am, Ryan, but I can say confidently that most college students will also probably tell you no, that they walk around feeling sleep deprived for a lot of their day. IU NewsNet's Olivia Wilson joins us with some research. Olivia?
Thanks, guys. Sleep is vital for our well-being as it affects how we perform in school, along with our overall mental and physical health. But the reality is, most college students just don't get enough sleep at night, and researchers here at IU may be able to help.
Probably about 6 hours every night.
If we were to average it out, I'd probably say around 7 hours probably.
Average, probably 6 to 7.
I think I get about like 7 hours of sleep every night.
I would say probably 7.
Probably about 6.
Experts say that students should be getting around 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night, but many distractions can throw off our sleep schedule. Ori Schaefer in the Fernandez lab studies fruit flies to gain a better understanding of our circadian rhythms that affect our sleep patterns.
As it turns out, we're all in a fairly negative environment for our clocks.
So we're just not giving ourselves the true environmental cues we need to make sure that our rhythms are as synced up with the environment as possible.
Most college students, when they're ready for bed, have a routine that they follow. But this new routine is a little different from previous generations. Ours consists of turning off the lights and getting into bed. But when the lights go out, another one comes on, one that disrupts our internal clock.
Yeah, I can't go to sleep without watching TikTok for like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, if not longer.
What's even worse is we have these screens that are basically blasting our eyes with photons late into the night.
We should try to limit our screen time, but Schaefer explains that our world is simply not built to benefit our sleep patterns.
Right, so we are really evolutionarily designed to be under bright sunlight all day long and to have things be really pretty dark at night.
But there are still a few things we can do to improve our quality of sleep.
Okay. To not extend stressful or strenuous mental or physical activities into the evening, into the night, to try to time those things for the morning or early afternoon, to seek out light in the morning, to avoid it at night.
Especially this kind of light.
So the next time you are ready to go to sleep, maybe try to wind down with something that doesn't involve screens to help your circadian clocks stay on time. Back to you, Grace and Ryan.
When we come back, can IU football go 9-0? They hit the road this weekend, and you may have to have a subscription to see it. We'll tell you what you need to know.
Plus, it's one IU wrestler's last ride, and he's prepared to make the most of it. Our own Riley Woodall has his story when we come back. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Football is rolling, basketball season has arrived, and men's soccer just won another title.
They did. IU NewsNet's Riley Woodall joins us with sports this week. Riley?
Hey, thanks, guys. Remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about Indiana football having a chance to start 5-0? Well, now the Hoosiers could do something they have never done. Start 9-0 with a win against Michigan State this weekend. But getting to 8-0 was easier said than done, however, as Indiana hosted Washington in front of another sellout crowd and with College game day in the house. A sea of waving white towels, that's become the calling card of the Hoosier student section. Man, they are fired up. All right, first quarter, no score. Huskies in Indiana territory. Washington's Will Rogers throws to the outside, and it's intercepted by D'Angelo Pons. They are not going to catch him. 69 yards to the house. Hoosiers draw first blood. Now into the third, 17-14 lead for IU. They add to it here. Justice Ellison churns the legs, lowers the shoulder, and scores from 5 yards out. I see you, Juice. Hoosiers ahead by 10. Now to the fourth quarter, IU leads 24-14. Taven Jackson gets the snap. He's going to keep it, shows off the wheels, running around the outside. He scores on a 3-yard rush, and that's all she wrote. Indiana avoids the letdown and wins a close one against Washington. Final score, 31-17.
We gutted it out. And we're 8-0. And it was a great team effort. And I told the team after the game, I said really good teams, championship teams, they find ways to win games. And that's what we did today. We found ways to win a game.
See if they could find a way to win another game as they will be on the road at Michigan State this weekend. Kickoff is at 3:30, and you need a subscription to Peacock or a friend who has one to watch the game. Exciting times here in Bloomington, to say the least, and it's only getting better because basketball is right around the corner. Hoosier fans got a little glimpse at what Indiana men's and women's basketball will look like this year as both teams played exhibition games this past week. The men's squad upset the number 12 ranked Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville on Sunday. Junior forward Malik Renew led the game in scoring with 21 points, while star transfers Umar Ballo and Miles Rice showed out in their debut with the Cream and Crimson. Ballo led the team and game with 11 rebounds, and Rice finished with 20 points. Meanwhile, the women's squad cruised through Maryville easily, 95-27 on Wednesday night. 4 Indiana players scored in double figures, headed by junior guard Yarden Garzone with 20, and junior forward Lily Meister, the replacement of Mackenzie Holmes. She balled out. She had 19 points. Indiana volleyball snapped a 5-match losing streak on Sunday with a straight set win over Northwestern. The match was back and forth and came down to the wire, but the Hoosiers found a way to win all 3 sets. Two-time All-Big Ten setter Cam Hayworth made her return against the Wildcats after missing the Wisconsin match, and she picked up right where she left off, leading the team and game with 39 assists. Junior outside hitters Candela Alonzo Corsellas and Avery Tatum dominated on the attacking front, both finishing with double-digit kills. As a team, the Hoosiers outshined the Wildcats in virtually every statistical category. Indiana is now 10-10 on the season.
So much about our game I don't love, but I thought it was as good as we've been, and really proud of the kids to get back, not having a lot of practice time and getting ready to go. So hell of a weekend for Indiana athletics. Obviously football was great, and I get a little lost in certain things, but I know men's hoops won today, and we were able to put a cherry on top.
To the pitch we go, and man, men's soccer had a night on Tuesday, defeating Northwestern 6-1 and capturing its 19th Big Ten regular season title. You heard that correctly. IU's offense was dominant, dynamic, and all over the place. 4 separate Hoosiers scored at least 1 goal, with senior forward Tommy Mahalik and graduate forward Justin Weiss leading the way with 2 goals apiece. Senior goalkeeper JT Harms was terrific on the defensive side as well. With this win, Indiana secured its 5th league crown in 7 seasons. Get this, folks, they started the conference slate with a 1-1-1 record, but will finish 7-1-2 in Big Ten play. That's just incredible. You can never doubt Todd Yeagley's crew. Indiana will face Trine on Friday for its regular season finale. Indiana women's soccer dropped its final match of the regular season against Nebraska in Lincoln on Sunday, losing to the Huskers 3-1. Nebraska led 1-0 at the half with a goal from Sarah Weber. Nebraska scored again to start the second half, but junior forward Marissa Gressick scored for the Hoosiers to make it a 2-1 game in the 65th minute. But Weber put the nail in the coffin and won it for the Huskers with another goal in the 75th minute. The Hoosiers and Huskers were pretty even on shots and shots on goal, with Indiana having the slight edge in both, 13-12 and 7-6 respectively. With this loss, the Hoosiers haven't won a match since September 26th. Indiana will await its fate to see if a Big Ten tournament berth is possible. And finally, to the story of a wrestler who had a little bit of an unconventional path to success, but through patience, hard work, determination, and trusting the process, he's now poised and ready to do some big things in his final year with the Cream and Crimson. Take a look.
I'm not jumping back over like this so he can just come up or something.
The college wrestling season has begun. And for Indiana senior heavyweight Jacob Bullock, it's been a journey of patience.
For me, I've always just wanted those instant results, and it's not realistic, especially whenever, you're talking about wrestling.
When the coaching staff approached him with the idea of redshirting last season, he was hesitant at first, but he trusted the process, and it paid off.
I could get a lot better within 1 year, and it actually worked out better because from a technical standpoint, I think I was able to really slow wrestling down and see it from like a different lens.
Bullock began his collegiate career at Old Dominion, but the program disbanded after his freshman year. So he entered the transfer portal and came back to the other school that recruited him.
In my recruiting process, always, no matter where the kid picks, I don't take it personal. And that's kind of left it open with JB. It's like, okay, you made that decision, but if anything ever changes, let us know. Well, something changed. It was kind of cool how it all worked out.
They welcomed me with open arms the second time, It's a second chance for me. This program has done so much for me, and I've learned so many valuable lessons that I'll always have.
And now, 4 years later, Bullock has a newfound confidence heading into his final season. But whether he accomplishes all his goals on the mat or not, his impact on the program will be felt for years to come.
He's a great dude. He's kind of like a big brother. Helps me out with things when I need him, takes me to class after practice.
He's just truly a guy that you want around to be a role model for the younger guys, because it's like that's how you do it, right? That's how you conduct yourself on and off the mat.
Maybe that's how someone becomes great, by making those around them even greater. Now that's the sign of a true champion. Absolutely amazing story. Keep an eye on JB this season. He's going to make some noise in the Big Ten and NCAA tournaments in his last year with Indiana. What an absolutely jam-packed week for IU sports, am I right? And we're just getting started. Have a great Halloween weekend, everyone. God bless. That's all from me. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's it for IU NewsNet for now. We have a behind-the-scenes student production team in the control room and working in the studio for this broadcast. We thank them and we thank you for watching. I'm Ryan Costello.
And I'm Grace Morocco. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at IU NewsNet and on the IU Student Media channel on YouTube. Take care, and we'll see you back next week.